Don't mean we can relax. It's my job to instill confidence into my teammates until the last horn stops.
Count it up, count it up, count it up, count it.
Pretty special night, and hopefully some more special things happen.
Two more.
After Game 3 of the NBA Finals on ABC on Wednesday night, we will be here for SportsCenter until we've run out of content. So we'll see you Wednesday night. Game 3 of the NBA Finals Wednesday in Cleveland, and Golden State halfway to being the foregone conclusion I labeled them a few weeks ago. Vegas felt the same way. They were minus 1,000 to win the finals before the series even started. They're now minus 2,500, which seems actually kind of low. It means you need to risk $2,500 to win a $100 bill. Cleveland is winning the bench player who has played 0 postseason minutes, who has the most to say award, Kendrick Perkins, letting everyone know he's not the problem you want. Okay, Perk. Cavs have not named LeBron, have struggled so far in the finals after shooting 40% on catch-and-shoot attempts in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. J.R. Smith, 1 of 8 on those attempts in the finals. Kyle Korver averaged 10 points per game in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. He's certainly been important for them as a perimeter weapon. Give the guy his shots, that's what he does. But he's been missing in action in the finals. 4 points in 33 minutes. And try as he might, LeBron can't do everything. He set up his teammates through the first 2 games, but they've not come through. Shooting 25% on 3-pointers off passes from LeBron, who's just 5 of 16 when those shots are contested. Brian Windhorst joins us now. And Brian, I could let it go, or I could be me. I'm going to be me. Are you tickling the ivories this evening? Have you stepped away from the piano? What's going on here, pal?
Scott, the Late Show is coming up. There's still tickets available, but I'm staying for it. You're welcome to join.
Outstanding. I'm going to pass, and we're just going to talk about some sports here, and I'll actually ask you about some. The Cavs, as the series shifts back home, are looking at Rodney Hood, and I feel awful to go this route, but this feels like a horror movie or something, and you're out of bullets, and it's when you throw the gun because you're out of bullets. Is this the equivalent of just sort of throwing the gun because why not?
Don't run back into the house, Scott.
No.
You're not supposed to do that. So this is not a commentary on Rodney Hood. It's more of a commentary on some of the Cavs bench players, specifically Jordan Clarkson, who hasn't been playing well, and he doesn't effectively pass the ball, so you might as well put in a guy who's a shooter there. Now, Rodney Hood could end up having a really good Game 3. He could hit 5 threes. He could have a transcendent moment in his career. But he's not been good in this postseason. His plus-minus has been terrible. And last year with the Jazz, when they played the Warriors in the postseason, he went 1 of 15 on 3-pointers in that series. Now, doesn't mean it has anything to do with what's going to happen tomorrow, but this is definitely the Cavs throwing dice at the felt, hoping to hit 7 or 11 or whatever you're looking for. Understood.
Meanwhile, the Warriors, they get to bring someone back who's been a Finals MVP in theory. How much credit do we have about just how close Iguodala is?
Well, I think if he doesn't have any setbacks, I think he feels good about playing. And this is huge for the Warriors, especially because they're going to be in Cleveland. And you know the Cavs are going to play better. You know they're going to shoot better. They haven't lost here at home since Game 1 of the playoffs way back in April. And to have another guy to put on LeBron James, even if he only takes him for a handful of possessions, to relieve Kevin Durant of that a little bit, and to have another quality veteran big that can focus, because sometimes the Warriors don't focus so well on the road off the bench. It would be a huge lift for them. The Cavs are expecting him to play, and the Cavs are regretting not getting one of those games when he was out in the Bay.
Brian, whether it's the private conversations or reading between the lines or just your interpretations of the things you're hearing, body language, whatever, what's your sense of Cleveland's belief about an ability to get on the board in this series and get a game?
Well, they feel like they haven't put their best foot forward yet, specifically with the 3-point shooting. Scott, I've been saying this for a week and a half now. At some point, the Cavs are going to hit those threes. They hit them all year. They just haven't been able to make them. They do shoot better at home than on the road. And if they could just get 2 or 3 extra to fall, it would change their whole mentality. And so while we can go X and O all night long, Kevin Love is always going to have a matchup problem against the Warriors. The Cavs are never going to have the firepower that the Warriors do. But if they hit a couple of freaking 3-pointers, things are going to feel a little bit different to them. And that's what they're waiting for. They're just working their offense and hoping that it works.
And they sit at the bar and put bread in my jar and say, man, what are you doing here? Brian Windhorst from a cabaret somewhere in Cleveland. Thank you for your time, my friend. We will talk again soon.
Thank you.
so many awesome memories, classic moments throughout the years of the NBA Finals. And as a player, obviously getting here is the pinnacle. Winning it is absolutely everything. And in order to win it, usually the team that makes the fewest mistakes is the one to take home the Larry O'Brien Trophy. And Kevin, that is why what happened Thursday night at the end of regulation in Game 1, 5 days ago, that's why it's still being talked about.
Yeah, Sage, a great point. Imagine tens of millions of people watching one of the biggest sports mistakes in recent memory. And just when you think you can move on, there's video going viral of your reaction. That's what we have here. The Cavs been dealing with after this video was released of LeBron and the team right after finding out they had a timeout in their pocket while J.R. Smith dribbled out during the closing seconds of regulation of Game 1. Dave McMenamin has more on the Cavs' reaction to the video that has gone viral.
Hill misses. Rebound goes to the Cavs. J.R. Smith brings it back out. Throws it to Hill. Hill shot blocked. And we'll go to overtime.
5 days have passed since a series of miscues cost the Cleveland Cavaliers from stealing Game 1 of the NBA Finals in Golden State. For a moment in Game 2, thanks to Stephen Curry's next to impossible nothing-but-net turnaround three that nearly grazed Kevin Love's eyelashes, it appeared the series had found its new signature sequence to be replayed over and over again.
Oh, he knocks it down!
Then, late Sunday night, hours after the Warriors went up 2-0 on the Cavs, this video surfaced.
I finally got Game 1 out of my head. You taking me back, huh, Chris? Okay, hold on, let me put myself back there.
LeBron, upon learning the Cavs had a timeout remaining when J.R. Smith dribbled out the clock, slumped in his chair like a student trying not to be called on in class.
When I got to the bench, first thing that came to my mind, I was like, okay, I was calling timeout. But hopefully, I'm glad maybe if we didn't have any, I'm glad they didn't give it to me. I didn't want another C-Webb incident. So I asked our coaching staff if we had a timeout, and they told me yes. And I guess y'all probably seen the reaction from that point on.
The reaction is raw. It's distraught. It's pained. It's even painful to watch. But is it bad leadership? Should LeBron have used that time to ready his teams for overtime?
Me? Me being criticized? No. You saying I got criticized for something, right? No, I don't believe that. Not me. I don't care. I don't care at all. I mean, we're in the NBA Finals. I mean, how much more picking up teammates you want me to do? In the NBA Finals, it could be for a championship.
J.R. Smith, the teammate supposedly left out in the cold by LeBron, says anyone holding on to that huddle is missing the point.
Man, nobody over here is losing any sleep over what anyone else says that's not in our locker room, whether it's our coaches or players. So it's the finals, and we got to take care of business.
Game 3 is another chance for the Cavs to replace that memory of dejection with a moment of jubilation.
All right, Brian Windhorst joins me live now to talk more about this and other things. But first things first, Brian, I got to say, as we get set for Game 3, we're still talking about Game 1. I was surprised that LeBron even answered the question because PR-wise, he should have said, you know what, that was then, this is now, we're focused on Game 3. Leads me to believe that the team, is not over what happened with J.R. Smith. What's your take?
Well, I think, Sage, they realized how much of a missed opportunity that was. And so LeBron, I agree. I was surprised he answered it at length.
Yes.
Reminded everybody that JR and George Hill made mistakes, just in case anybody forgot. And I also feel like he was taking the opportunity to remind everybody that, hey, this series is 2-0, but maybe it could be 1-1. And, maybe that has some value to his teammates. But I do agree that his leadership in this moment wasn't the best. Now, is it fair to hold him to a standard that is outrageous? He had 51 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists in that game. Mm-hmm. Is it fair to criticize his leadership? Maybe not. But certainly he could have handled that better. And, I had some people who I know who were within the huddle, and they thought that he could have done that as well.
That moment, you mean,
Sure.
and
Even
as well
that
as
night.
today, where you can disperse it and say, because obviously J.R. George Hill are still struggling with what happened. In the meantime, this all leads to talk about what does the future hold for LeBron James and many other free agents. But you posted a really interesting article on ESPN.com about how these finals will affect free agency this summer. How so?
Yeah, Sage, the Cavs aren't just down 2-0 in the finals. They're down 2-0 in the transaction game because they lost Kyrie Irving, and the Warriors have added Kevin Durant since their last championship. So really what happens, whether the Cavs win this finals or not, I don't think is going to affect LeBron. But what they do in the transaction game between now and July 1st, which is the draft, which is the 8th pick, that's what's going to be important. And that's also what's important to realize when you look at this series. They're not just losing on the court in the X's and O's. They're losing before they go out there because of the talent gap that the Cavs one time had very close with this team.
And that's the scary part. It goes much deeper than just wins and losses in the next week or so. How about this? I think this is probably going to be the best video of the day here on SportsCenter. Let's go back to 2007 because we are sitting here dealing with these bugs called midges. It's disgusting. The bugs going up our nose. Do you remember this? Jabba Chamberlain, the 07 ALD.
Of course I remember it.
He got attacked by midges. And I want to tell America, for some sympathy, we are being attacked. I had midges up my nose a minute ago,
Puffing up. They're harmless.
They're disgusting.
It's a lovely weather out here. Stop acting like you're still in Phoenix. Everything is fine. It's June in Cleveland. This is the best we have to offer. Kluber's pitching tonight. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to go there and we're going to enjoy it. It's going to be a pitcher's duel. We're going to be done.
I hope your boy Kluber doesn't get attacked by these midgets.
He doesn't care about them.
Right.
He doesn't care about them. The midgets are fine. I love you.
I love you, Cleveland. We need to work on these midgets and make it a little bit more
harmless. They're good for the environment.
It's disgusting, Kevin. Oh, wait, I'm not done. We'll have to talk more about this outside. Yeah. Stephen Curry, wonder what he thinks about the midgets. He's been so darn good in this series, though. We'll show you how. And also his partner in crime, the guy who took home the Finals MVP award last year, Steph, KD, Stephen A. Smith, up next with the midgets.
Sage, 4 months after winning the Super Bowl, the Eagles' scheduled trip to the White House canceled by President Trump last night, as only a handful of players were expected to show up at the White House celebration with fans today. Instead, the Eagles continued their OTAs at the practice facility in South Philly. White House changed the event so it would be a celebration of the American flag. President Trump had another tweet out today about other champions visiting the White House, saying, quote, "We have had many championship teams recently at the White House, including the Chicago Cubs, Houston Astros, Pittsburgh Penguins, New England Patriots, Alabama, and Clemson national champions, and many others." One team noticeably absent from this list, the Golden State Warriors, who had their invitation to the White House withdrawn last year by the president. It was their reaction to the White House canceling the Eagles trip because of the team's small group that's planning to visit.
It's not surprising. I think, the president has made it pretty clear he's going to try to divide us, all of us in this country, for political gain. So it's just the way it is.
When somebody says they don't want to come to the White House, he disinvites them. So that photo op don't look bad. We get it at this point. But, it's good that guys are sticking to what they believe in.
It's typical of him. I'm not surprised. I know no matter who wins this series, no one wants to invite anyway, so it won't be Golden State or Cleveland going.
I agree with Bron. Pretty sure the way we handled things last year, kind of stayed consistent with that. But at the end of the day, like I said, every team has an opportunity to make a decision for themselves and speak for themselves, and I think that's powerful, being in this situation.